if I can just jump
this
in
is
there
not
for
the
a second.
time to
There already
replace
is a
it.
world reserve currency. It's called the credit
Max
default
Keiser.
swap. It's a multi-$100 trillion market. It's in every single bank in the world. It's controlled by a few bankers and a few institutions around the world. All of the bets and all of the loans are settled in credit default swaps. So the credit default swap, or CDS, is today the world is the mechanism to create a super global currency. And the point that needs to be made is that economies like Ireland that have seen their banks crash because they bought into this counterfeit American paper, they need to take a step back and say, wait a minute, maybe we should reorganize our economy and have it based on our own productivity, our own workers, and do something for our own people instead of just becoming a manservant to charlatans on Wall Street.
London, Mr. Knight, I saw you nodding your head. I guess you have something to say. Please jump in.
Well, I mean, people say we're in the middle of a recession. I don't think it is that at all. I think we're in the very, very earliest stages of a revolution, and I think it's going to spread from London, and I think it'll go through from Strasbourg across Europe, and I think it will be an extraordinary event, and I think the outcome of it will be very, very quick because revolutions work like that way, and we will have one currency, one country, one planet. And why I say that is because there's now so much hope. Barack Obama has given us hope. Yes, we can. And in my bubble, I'm in a kind of bubble. I do street theatre. I mean, for example, at noon on April Fool's Day, on Wednesday, I announced on behalf of the government of the dead that the money that Gordon Brown keeps printing is no longer legal tender, and I announced that I'd printed some other money, and this would now just as good, in fact, a little bit better. And what I'm saying here is that we can start laughing, really, at the idiocy. I mean, finance capitalism is a form of witchcraft. It's superstition. Money doesn't exist. It only exists if you believe in it. So we have all these financiers all waving their magic wands, and the magic's gone, and nothing's happening. But meanwhile, Barack Obama has given us enormous hope. In my bubble, I'm almost taking instructions from Barack Obama, because what he says is so inspiring and so wonderful. Unfortunately, what he does is completely different, because he's completely enclosed and trapped by the same Bush regime that got us into this problem in the first place. And of course, he's using violence against the people of Afghanistan, driving those people into the hands of the Taliban. They don't want to be in the Taliban. And so if it's a question of what Barack Obama says, we're 100% behind him. Get out of Afghanistan. Stop bombing people. Okay? And
well, I think, Chris Knight, you're covering a wide area of issues there, and I'd like you to focus on the case at hand, if we could, in order to get some substance and be able to have, let's say, far-sighted debate here. Now, still keeping with you in London, Chris, why is it that the idealism that you so describe exists in Obama does not translate into reality? What's the dichotomy there? Has it to do with the system that runs the capitalist structure of this military-industrial complex in the U.S., or has it to do with a much wider global construct?
Okay, the global cosmic battle almost is between language and violence. I do language.
Professor Nell, I'll be coming
Barack
to you in just a
Obama
bit.
does language. He doesn't do violence very well, to be honest. And the idea that you can use violence against the people of Afghanistan is just foolish, as well as totally in contradiction.
Okay, Chris Knight, let me get quickly a reaction from Ireland, because we're digressing from the theme. It is the G20 summit. Professor Nell, now regarding the Anglo-American axis, which supports further stimulus packages and bailouts, versus that of the Germans and the French, who say they need more regulation. Now, how irreconcilable do you think these two positions really are?
Regulation is absolutely necessary. It's a long-run point. The stimulus is a short-run point, and the short run is extremely important right now because all economies are going downhill very, very fast. 660,000 jobs were lost in March in the United States. Germany is going down at about 2%, 1 to 2% a month. It's very, very serious.
Well, I guess no one's doubting the seriousness and severity of the crisis, but Max Keiser, to you now. Now, Max, what does it really take for the world leaders that recently converged in London to come up with that regulatory body, that oversight institution, and how achievable is it with regards to the rift and schism that exists between them?
Well, first of all, you have to understand
regulatory
that this group, the G20 meeting, was really like an enormous global meeting of Gambleaholics Anonymous. These are just gamblers, and the Central Committee gave them another $1 trillion worth of chips to gamble with. There was no really substantive address of how to fix the global economy.
That money isn't for gambling. It's for bailing out Czechoslovakia and other small countries like Latvia.
Capital. And in order to raise capital, you have to defend your interest rates, and you have to raise interest rates, as a matter of fact, because that's the only way you're going to have a sound capitalist system. By continuing to lower interest rates, all you're doing is you're penalizing the workers and the savers and giving a free ride to the borrowers and the speculators.
Exactly.
So they're just widening the chasm between the speculators and the workers by keeping interest rates artificially low, by continuing to give the gamblers more and more free chips. And they're not addressing that fundamental issue. The bottom line is this. The economies are contracting, and nothing is going to stop that. There is no stimulus, no monetary or fiscal stimulus that is going to stop the world economy from contracting and going through a very severe depression. The only question going forward is it going to be a short depression or a long depression? What we have to figure out and say is that we want it to be a short depression, and the way to do that is to not give more money to gamblers, to gamble away the pension accounts of the workers, and to destroy more jobs. We have to let the system clean it out organically, as it has before, and then look to the other side of this. We're not going to stop it. There's absolutely no policy that's going to stop this global depression from getting worse and from happening in real time. We're in it now. We're starting the depression now. Nothing's going to stop that. The only question is it going to be a short one or a long one?
So why are you so